Hey guys, welcome back to A Story with Rory. I'm your host, and tonight we have Blaine and Amanda with a UFO encounter. Hey Blaine and Amanda, how's it going?
Good.
Good. Sounds good.
Go ahead and where are you guys calling from today?
We're in West Jordan, Utah.
Okay. I guess go ahead and start from the beginning when this happened, and this is a UFO counter or UFO sighting, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and just start from the beginning. Tell us your story.
Well, we were on our way fishing to Flaming Gorge, Wyoming. It's on the border of Wyoming and Utah. We were headed northbound on I-15, pulling our fifth wheel on our boat together. And we were up there right by Hill Air Force Base, by Ogden, Utah. And I looked up to the right and I seen this shiny thing looked like a mirror up in the sky, and it was kind of wobbling and reflecting things from the ground. And I could see the reflection of things from the ground in the mountain. And it was kind of eerie. And I said, Amanda, look, what the heck do you think that is? What did you say, Amanda?
I looked and I pretty much couldn't believe my eyes. I was like, what am I seeing right now? Like, it's just hovering. It's not moving. And like my dad said, it was shiny. It was a little creepy, to be honest.
And I looked back down to the road to make sure I was staying in my lane because I was pulling a set of doubles, a boat with a fifth wheel, kind of a wiggle wagon. And I looked down, then I looked back up, and it was gone. Like it completely disappeared in an instant.
Midair.
How close in the sky was this relative to you?
I figure it was about maybe 4,000 feet up at about a 2 o'clock angle.
So like maybe like a plane that might be flying kind of low setting, like a Cessna or something.
Yeah, but it was kind of a wobbly like that, and I could see the reflection.
And it was just hovering, right? It wasn't moving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just kind of a wobble, and all of a sudden, bam, it was gone.
And how far were you away from the Air Force Base?
Well, we're probably about 2 miles from the exit to the south exit to the or entrance to the base.
And you saw like the reflection of the mountains, you said, right? On the craft, whatever it was.
Yeah, it was like a mirror.
Man. Like it was cloaking itself, basically.
Yeah, like trying not to be seen.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what, that would definitely give me chills too. Like if I were to see that. I don't know if you guys remember that. It was like a Navy destroyer or like a Navy. One of their ships were out somewhere, and they looked up. This was like back in, I guess, that 2017 video or 2015. I'm not sure, but they all looked up, and there was like 10 or 12 of these triangular spacecraft, aircraft, whatever you want to call it. They're just hovering there, and they were all kind of shiny, and they were all kind of like mirrors, basically. And it looked like someone just holding up a bunch of mirrors in the sky is what it looked like to me. But yeah, it was like an aircraft carrier out in the ocean. I don't know where it was, but it's all over the news. And it was, I want to say it was back in 2015 or 2017, something like that. But what you're describing to me is kind of similar to what those sailors saw on that night, because it was a nighttime deal, and they have night vision, and they were looking up, and it's just like a bunch of mirrors in the sky. But if it's definitely cloaking itself, it's probably just showing the reflection of what you're seeing. So you would have saw the trees, the road, possibly your own car, or whatever.
It's
That's kind of,
it's about 11 o'clock in the morning.
yeah. And that's a weird time to see something like that, I would think, like morning time. But we've had a lot of people that have seen UFOs in the morning. And there's a lot of people that see them at nighttime. They see glowing orbs in the sky. And I don't know, what would make the difference between seeing it in the morning or night? Like, at first we have to identify, I guess, what it is, right?
Yeah, I
So,
swear in the Bible it was there, and they
did you
can say
guys
what they want. They call me crazy.
did you guys ever report it to anybody or
No, I thought about calling MUFON and reporting it to MUFON, but I never did.
right?
Maybe they'll get a hold of me, and I don't know.
Right. Well, tell you what, I mean, there's been some instances where, like that aircraft carrier story. There was also another story that I heard, and I'm not sure exactly where this was. Um, but this lady and her daughter were driving on the highway, and when they were driving, they saw a car coming up behind them. But when it was coming up behind them, they looked over to the right or left, not sure which lane they were in, but they saw their own reflection basically.
Wow.
So she thought she saw a car that was her car and her in that driver's seat, and her daughter was in there. But then later she thought about it, I guess, and come to find out maybe possibly whatever it was just mirrored. And so she was seeing her own reflection. And so you don't see that on a highway. You don't see that. And most definitely you don't see that in the sky usually, but the people that do, it's like, is this thing targeting me? Am I just in the wrong place at the wrong time and I'm seeing something I'm not supposed to see?
Right.
Or are they actually looking at me? And that's what you kind of have to look at the situation as. And I don't know, like I've only had one UFO encounter, and it was like a black sphere about 30 feet above the tree line, but it was just stuck, wasn't moving, just hovering, like it wasn't swaying or nothing. And it was a windy day. So it almost looked like it was just like kind of like stuck in the sky, so to speak.
What was
But
that?
that was in Oklahoma, kind of close to Stillwater. And my wife's like, "What is that?" And I'm like, "What's what?" And then I see this little black dot. And what she described it as is like a black sphere about the size of like a basketball, with pointy little wings on the side. And I saw something completely different. Like if you remember those Smarty suckers that are round on top, round on bottom, and then straight on the sides,
Mhm.
I saw that, but black and unpolished. It was just matte black. I saw the sun rays hitting it, bouncing off, and it just sat there. And I'm just waiting for this thing just to go, phew, and just shoot off. But we didn't know what it was, and we kind of think we saw two different things, and that's, I guess, a common anomaly that happens with people that see UFOs. Sometimes people see different things, and we don't know if why that comes about. We don't know why that happens, but um, I feel like we definitely kind of saw something close to the same thing, but two different things. And I don't know if that's in case you try to report it and they want both of your statements and you're telling them two different stories and they don't believe you. I don't know. I don't know why it was that we saw two different things, but it was
I
it
want to
was
see
weird.
another one. I want to
Yeah.
see. I want to see another one for sure.
It's probably one of those deals where like, your brain can't process what you're seeing. So sometimes it's hard to think about, hey, pull your phone out and videotape this thing because you're not to that point yet. You're like, what is it? I want to know what it is first, before I can even move, like before I can even do anything. And it sounds weird, but when you're in the situation like you guys were in, and you know what I mean? It's just, it's odd, because you're like, whatever I'm looking at right now should not exist and it shouldn't be right there, you
Right.
know?
Yeah, this was in 2008, by the way. Yeah, 2008.
Okay, 2008. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, that was definitely a while ago. I mean, do I think it's weird that it was by an Air Force base? Maybe, maybe not. But, it could have been flying around the Air Force base for all we know. It could have been, it could be a probe. It could be a lot of things. But I think it's probably, to me, I would think it would be somewhat similar to what those guys saw on that ship or whatever, that aircraft carrier. Because was it triangular? Did you see a shape?
Yeah, it was rectangle.
Rectangle? Oh,
Yep.
okay. Well, I would say it's similar, but yeah, that sounds a little bit different as far as the shape because these were all pyramid shape or triangular shape, and I've never heard of rectangle. I've heard of like capsule size orbs, like spinning cubes, stuff like that. But as far as like a rectangle, that's like a mirror look. It has like a mirror
Yeah.
look to it. Yeah, I've never heard of that so far. So that's a first. I mean, that's kind of cool. Two
Like a mirror.
eyewitnesses that saw the same thing. So,
So
yeah,
you think it looks like a mirror, right? A rectangle.
Hmm.
it's crazy how you said it like showed you saw the reflection of the trees on it. That's what really defines something that was mirrored, because you're seeing a reflection of something. It's not just shiny, you're actually seeing something.
It was big. It was big.
About how big would you say it was?
So I figure it was about maybe 4,000 feet off the ground, and I bet it was a couple football field long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? A couple of football fields?
Yeah.
Dang. So you guys must have been really freaking out, like what?
And I don't smoke marijuana either.
No. I mean, I believe you. But that would make sense for something that size to use some kind of cloaking device or some kind of way to cloak itself for sure. So I'm wondering if you could have just like hung your arm out the window, and you probably couldn't have seen that far up, but if you could have, you probably would have seen yourself driving, having your arm out the window or whatever. So yeah, that's wild. So 2008, South Carolina, giant rectangular UFO with some
Utah.
kind of weird. Oh, Utah. That's right. I'm sorry. I don't know where I got South Carolina from. Utah. A lot of things happen in Utah, like at Skinwalker Ranch or places.
I'm a big fan of Skinwalker Ranch.
Yeah, a lot of places around Utah, New Mexico, Arizona. There's a lot of weird things in the sky. I mean, you got the Northwest too. The Pacific Northwest, there's a lot of UFO activity as well. So
we're going camping out right by the Skinwalker Ranch up there at Moon Lake, and the Ute Indians won't swim in the Moon Lake because they figure it's spirits are in it. They're going to keep you in the water. They won't let you out.
You never know. I mean, you just never know. I forgot the name of the lake. There's another lake that was kind of like that. It's a giant tourist spot now, but anyways, they had like 20 something drownings in 1 year. And this one kid said that something pulled his leg and held him underwater, and so I think it could be possibly something like that. It could be a haunted lake or whatnot, but then people kind of come and say that there's an explanation for all of it. But the kid was definitely not taking that as an answer. He's like, no, I know what I felt. I know what happened to me. You can say what you want, but I know what I saw, or I know what I felt. I know what happened, basically. And so, but yeah, Blaine and Amanda, I thank you for, being on the show tonight and sharing your story, your UFO sighting. I'm trying to do kind of like a series of a bunch of different accounts that people have seen something in the sky, whether, unexplainable, explainable, or something that was just weird. And I'm trying to piece all the pieces together and try to make sense of, hey, these people saw this and all these other people saw this, and they don't know each other. They're all spread out through all over the world, and maybe we can make sense of stuff that we see in the sky that way. So
we're not alone.
No, definitely not. All right, Blaine and Amanda, I surely appreciate you guys being on the show, and I hope you have a great and pleasant evening. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Rory. Bye-bye.
All right, see you guys later.